Awesome.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just seeing how after you got, verbally beat up on the internets.
Well, the death threats have been great.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
You're not up there in Craig Jones territory, but
nope.
It was funny. People got very upset with you.
Look at my shirt, people. Don't take stuff so seriously. Goodness gracious.
You know what my favorite thing is when, we could take a transcript of your solo episode, and I could take snippets and say, see, he said this, without looking at, by the way, he qualified that.
That's what it feels like people did.
Of course it is.
And it's like, so we'll just get the elephant in the room out of the way. Kick him out.
Okay.
Josh Saunders and his army of minions.
Yeah.
No, okay. And I get it. I totally get it. I said some things that are not complimentary, kind of your... Some people call them their coach. Your coach is not some guy online, first of all.
Oh, here we go.
He's an assistant coach, maybe.
Here we go.
But if you're going to call this guy your primary coach, you are no different than Gracie University.
Oh, here we go.
Not throwing shade at Henner, but I am.
So this was supposed to be like your
apology to her.
your controversy. I love this.
No, I'm stepping back. Okay.
Oh my God.
I didn't mean any of that.
Oh my God.
You guys are being bitches.
Wouldn't they be like a para coach? A para?
Para coach?
That has other implications.
Like what?
Okay.
Para.
What are the Paralympics?
Oh, well, I was thinking like
live
alongside, beside, along.
see,
I knew what you were thinking. I'm just saying.
I did not call him retarded.
I'm not calling them either. There are different. There are other people with. Now I have to have a disclaimer.
You're stuttering.
Certain people that have maybe physical disadvantages are still athletes and compete in that.
Yeah, I mean they're half athletes.
Okay.
Because they're missing.
Bill, just stop.
Stuff. So, okay, I don't mean you guys being bitches, but some of you are being a little whiny. Now, what I want to say is I was only saying that these are the selling points of this guy, and they should have context, because when people have their marketing material, you always, as a business, want to, especially a small business, want to seem bigger than you are, right? You want to basically make people feel comfortable that they're going to spend money with you. So you promote yourself as being bigger than you are.
So like this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know Josh is listening. So I appreciate his listenerhood. Now, the guy is very good at jiu-jitsu.
Yes, he is.
He's very good. He's a phenomenal athlete, which I think I already said. And all I was saying are these accolades do not qualify you to be a good coach. Once again, that doesn't mean I'm saying he's a bad coach. It just means it doesn't mean he's a good coach. Is that what confirmation bias is? Mm-hmm. It is?
So I'm wondering, so instead of a ladder you're putting in your hole, you're digging a little.
I'm digging to dig out.
Yeah,
I'm digging to China.
You might be getting deeper.
I'm coming out the backside.
That's what
you said.
I know. I'm enjoying this immensely.
Okay. So as I say that, okay, all these people that jumped in our comments and were like, hey, this guy's awesome. He's the best coach I ever had. He sends me wiener pics.
Bill.
Okay, no one said that, I don't think. And people are very complimentary of the guy. I get it. He's probably a good coach. And because of that, I'm going to sign up for his online coaching program.
As you should.
Okay. That was offensive.
No, because then you can have...
Oh, yes.
You can have, instead of just talking about it, you can have an experience.
And I'm going to review it.
Good.
Now,
That's fair.
and I think we've talked about doing this off cam, is reviewing other like tutorial instructional sites. So Submeta, which is the other Aussie, Lachlan.
Oh yeah,
that's his website.
Yeah.
AOJ, Autos. Obviously, there's a bunch of BJJ Fanatic stuff that you kind of like go down a certain road typically that you'll be able to talk about. So I think we'll probably start a series maybe.
Nice.
But we're going to kick it off. I'm going to sign up for Josh Saunders, online coaching, and as comps start coming up, maybe even Master Worlds, he can coach me for Master Worlds.
Well, I was going to say
Andrew, you've been replaced.
I feel a little bad for Josh right now because he has to then deal with
the amount of shirtless pics he's going to get.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wonder if he'll be able to help me much when it comes to gi.
I thought you were going to say chest development. I was like,
he's got a pretty good bosom.
That's what I'm saying.
So you think so?
He probably can help you with that.
What if I sign up and all my questions are about chest development?
I'm like I said, I'm loving all of this. So I want to see. I think, but in all seriousness, I think you're doing a good thing. In actually, look, I'm gonna go sign up for this, and it's important. I think you need to experience it, and then have a objective,
because there's a
unbiased.
I'll say it how it is, unbiased, and I do think that probably 90% of those comments were fake. Just putting that out there, because
90% of any comments are probably AI bots at this point. I don't know.
The grammar of these people is amazing.
Well, that's the giveaway.
Right.
If the grammar and spelling is like immaculate,
right,
then that's probably an AI
They're
person.
All very similar tone. Now, maybe I have spies, as we know.
Okay.
The Russian government
I know.
is on my side.
I know who
Same
your
with the Hawaiian government, actually.
Yeah.
I got someone high up in the islands.
Yeah.
And a birdie told me that our podcast was shared a little bit within the internal networks. Yeah. So with that, I hope this one gets shared and they know I'm going to do my due diligence. And if it sucks, I'm going to say it.
And if it's good,
I'm going to say it.
Okay.
And I'll
hold you to that.
Do a full-blown ad and I'll bill them later.
Okay. Okay. So I think that's a fair way to do it.
Good.
Cool.
He also got ragdolled by Gordon Ryan, just saying. Okay, that was rude. I didn't mean that. He put up a good fight. Let's
just say that he went up against arguably the best grappler on the planet. So give him some props for that.
Literally everyone gets ragdolled.
And so there you go.
I'm just being shitty, and I apologize.
That's okay.
Apology rejected. So I had a question. This actually came up, and I think it's something that a lot of people wish they could be in this situation. Now people need to know that you kind of have a gun to your head right now.
Me?
Yes.
In what way?
If you answer a certain way, your spouse is going to kill you because she's 5 feet away. So with that, more like 7.
Yeah, we just had our 23rd anniversary. I'm doing good.
For now. Make sure you answer honestly and don't just fawn over her. Can I call you her, or is it? Okay.
That's her pronouns. Okay.
I'm trying to be respectful and turning a new leaf because of the Saunders thing.
Oh, my God. Oh, dude.
She said she has an innie and her boobs are out.
That is a quote. I have to admit. I heard her say it myself. Go ahead.
Swing low, sweet chariots.
So please do ask. Please do ask.
So the question is training with your spouse. Yeah. Benefits, not so much benefits. What would you call those? What's a way to say that and not get in trouble?
What, the other way? Drawbacks?
Drawbacks. I wouldn't have said it that aggressive, but yeah.
You're not going to set me up with her. She knows your tricks. Yeah. By the way, you guys that are wondering why I have tape wrapped around me, I did a solo episode on taping, and I too lazy to take my tape off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
So go ahead. So what would you?
Why is she timing out right now?
Because he doesn't really train with me. I have to beg him.
Oh,
once
snap.
Could you please roll with me?
This is like Jerry Springer. Let's bring her on out.
So I don't. She doesn't have a mic, but she's
Paraphrase.
She called timeout, and she said she has to beg you to train with her, and you actually won't train with her unless she asks multiple times. So she's being a little bitch. That's what she's saying.
Okay, ask your question.
So my question is, what are the drawbacks of having a spouse that you train with, and what are the benefits? Now, let's get you out of this hole that you've dug and start with, in your mind, you don't have to go through every benefit. We'll kind of go back and forth.
Now I want to do a drawback first.
You want to do a drawback?
Yeah.
What's a drawback?
The only one.
Oh, he's going to set it up. She smells so good that it takes me out of the room. Some crap like that.
Actually, that wasn't going to say that.
You say she smells bad.
Ability just said.
Wow.
It's not going to
You
work.
sounded like a woman, Bill. That's what a chick would say.
So
Could you milk me?
I have nipples.
Okay, go. Drop back.
The only drawback I can see
The only drawback.
is that now she can call me out for what I actually do in the academy.
What is that?
Like just now, she's like, "Well, you haven't rolled with me in a while," and she wouldn't know that if I didn't train with her. Who I roll with and who I don't.
Such a bitch ass answer.
Are you saying there's multiple drawbacks, Bill? Because you're the one who said.
Ooh.
I don't have any.
Oh, okay. You're such a liar.
Oh my god, dude. This is so Jerry Springer.
I regret this episode.
Well, the way you set it up,
Yeah.
it was a problem.
Didn't think it through.
No,
To be honest.
especially
I was laser focused on throwing you under the bus.
ton of benefits.
Yeah.
Sharing more of the day together, a shared interest, which is super effective. 'Cause I know a lot of people, both male and female, maybe their significant other doesn't train.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're going to train, and that's, even if they're supportive, it's still time away.
Probably 2 hours.
It's significant.
Drive time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actual training.
And there's that community that the other person is not really a part of. Like,
You're becoming part of a community that you become very close to naturally.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about it.
Yep.
And your most important person in your life is disconnected from that.
Completely.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome to have a spouse, or whatever you want to call it, to train with.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Talking about jiu-jitsu, we watch like Who's Number One. We watch the different matches together, like excited, not like, oh, you got this on again. You know what I mean?
Or even going to tournaments can be much more enjoyable.
And just watching like Carrie excel and come up through the belts and get a black belt. That meant more to me than my own.
Right.
Right. I mean, that was amazing. Watching her develop as a martial artist on her own has nothing to do with me. Right. Yeah, I have dodged her a bit, rolling, I think. Not on purpose, but yeah, she's over there.
Why? But you acknowledge that you have.
I just haven't, for whatever reason, I'm gone roll to roll, and then I haven't made it as much of a effort to go and grab her and make sure I prioritize a roll. My ankles are still sore from the last one. She locked me up in one.
How often outside of the gym do you guys, and if it's not really at all, but that's actually kind of what I would expect, actually train together?
With our schedules, not very often. I mean, if you count sitting on the couch watching TV and she reaches over and wrist locks me.
Sure.
Which she does.
Of course. You're not getting double unders on a hug. I'm just saying.
No.
Not happening.
It turns into a grappling thing, yeah.
So what about just conversating about technique, something you saw, question of like, what about this? You know, where you kind of maybe in a role, one of you had a situation and you kind of bounce it off each other.
Yep.
Do you guys end up doing
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. Like if, I'll watch her roll, and I'm sure she watches, like, hey, I know, she'll even sometimes tell me, I noticed this, or,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's cool.
Do you guys get the question or the statement a lot where it's like, man, you got a black belt spouse. You guys must like train all the time together or something like that, like outside the gym.
It's the same thing. It's like, well, you guys were biochemists and doctors. You must have really intelligent conversations. Nope. The complete opposite.
Right. Toilet humor.
Toilet humor, third grade is about right where we're
Right,
at. Yeah. So not what you think.
Just sometimes you replace a dumb word with like a smarty pants word, but it's still toilet humor.
As long as it in
Yeah.
that context, yeah.
The fecal transplant that I just did was amazing. Rather than I would say the shitty person I just touched their butthole.
No, we say that too.
Okay. Liv,
Yeah.
you need to answer.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Give me a drawback having a spouse that you train with. You can just give me one. You don't need to go through the whole list that you have.
The problem is that it's you.
Right.
And there's a
That's
lot
true.
on the list.
Okay.
I'm not speaking for her. I'm
That
just saying I could imagine.
Hurts when you say it
I
that
know.
way.
I know. I'm just being honest, like you were trying to do with Josh.
Shut your mouth.
Okay, so drawback for me would be Bill likes training more than I do, so he is always at the gym.
So I'm gone more.
Yes.
Which kind of lends itself to what you're saying is like a benefit when you both do train. Because if you didn't train at all, then there's 6 days out of the week that I'm gone for 2.5 hours every day
Yeah.
on top of like work or something like that. That can kind of like be pretty annoying in a relationship. Or it just isn't going to happen. You're not going to train that much, which I still did, but guess that's. What about benefits?
Benefit is being able to talk about technique outside of the gym, having someone like you guys are talking about, like bounce stuff off of. I think a lot of the benefits I have also is the fact that you're a black belt. So having that knowledge, like that I can access and ask those questions all the time. Always having a training partner when I go to the gym.
Yeah. You always have someone you can beat up on, basically.
Yeah. I always have someone I can drill stuff with after or work on different technique. Just the fact that we get to hang out together and enjoy something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you could just hear him ripping his tape off on the microphone. It's just like,
No, that's the sound of your heart ripping. I noticed you glossed over the drawbacks very quickly.
I did.
That's fine.
Well, because I have nothing to defend that with. I trained too much. Is basically what it was.
I have another drawback.
Hit me.
Ooh, I
Okay,
love-
but it has more to do with, again, the black belt side than the. So because you're an instructor, a black belt, it can be harder to sometimes actually get that time that I need to like have you work on stuff with me because you're always helping other people, which is not a bad thing. Of course, I want people to ask you stuff, but sometimes it feels like other people's questions are prioritized.
That is definitely probably something we both struggle with.
Yeah, Carrie's agreeing
She's
with
nodding
that.
aggressively.
Yeah.
I think that is it's interesting because I don't know why, because I value your growth more than anybody's. But often, and maybe it's just, they get to me first or something like that. I don't know. I will be helping other people more than her.
I will say this with Carrie and Olivia too, at their level. Olivia's a brown belt, and Carrie's a black belt. I have really, and that goes with the other upper belts in the room. I'm not circulating around there near as much as I am with the white and the blue
Sure.
belts. Yeah, so there's some of that too.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of will gravitate towards, like if I see Mac and Jake drilling.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I'm walking by them and like trying to teabag them or something. I'm not like correcting their technique.
Saying something sarcastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that being kind of frustrating.
Just a little.
I apologize. I think a big benefit, one thing that you kind of alluded to, is definitely the schedule thing.
Mm-hmm.
No phones, no distractions. That is absolutely just undervalued, I think. And if you have kids, like, how often do you get a chance to have an hour without the kids just bothering you guys and all that kind of stuff?
Well, not with us, but
Yeah.
there's some married couple for sure, and a couple of them
Right.
that have that too, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a time for them.
Especially if you have a couple kids
Yep.
and then like maybe they're starting to get into sports and now you're
Yep.
getting pulled in two different directions, and
For sure.
for you to actually have time together, just to keep the marriage chugging along, I think is huge. Drawbacks, I think it can be actually really difficult to at least in the scenario where I'm in, where she started after me, and I was always ranked above her, is trying to, like, I want to get better myself, so I want to drill, but then you have to slow down. And that can be mentally hard if you're someone that's really trying to get good quickly, where you have to spend that time to explain stuff, be a good training partner. And if your spouse did train after you, you're going to have that battle of like spend time with them, put some effort into them. You can come later. You can still get better.
I would argue that would make you better as well.
Yeah, I mean, teaching makes you better, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And like kind of like Carrie will ask me something and sometimes, and I'm like, I don't really know how I do. You know, it makes me think about what am I actually doing?
Yeah.
At another black belt, or, you know, vice versa. If I see Carrie like really efficient, like with her ankle locks, I'm really looking at her mechanics. I'm like, what? Well, you know, it's cool that way. And then, hey, what are you doing there? You know,
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I think that helps everyone.
I think the communication thing has to be huge, because also, like, there's going to be days where, depending on your mindset and who you are, where you're like, I just need to get some rounds in and get like my mind off of life and not worry about if you're okay, not worry about if this person has questions, or you know, you're in that mode of like, I just got to get my own work and be a little selfish. That can be a difficult thing to navigate. And that's where communication comes in big time. Where if you are in one of those modes, you have to let them know. Otherwise, what can happen is you're just going to be cold to them, not intentionally, but they might ask a question, or they might expect you to drill with them, or, hey, can I get the first round? Like typically Olivia and I, we are each other's first round, to make sure we get one in with each other.
That's actually just a good idea just to do.
And it's a trustworthy round that you can kind of warm up and like,
Yeah.
I mean, Olivia is going to try to kill me, but you know, at least I know what's coming, and then it can kind of go from there. But if you're in one of those mindsets and you're just absent in that round, or you're very cold, that can cause strife, and then that can lead to, you know, strife outside of the gym, which is not why you're doing a hobby together.
No.
You want to actually come together and stuff like that. So having the communication is a huge piece there, to be like, hey, I just really want to smash heads today, or you know, something like that. And then your spouse can be like, oh, okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I never get that feeling.
I mean, you might not run into that.
I don't
I know a
personally, 'cause
bunch of
but that's
people
not
that do,
that's not my goal. And you know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you're saying though.
Yeah, I mean, the older grappler that's like not trying to like really go like that is probably not going to run into that too much. But your young buck like me is going to have that mindset.
You're creeping up there, brother.
Yeah. But for people that have someone that trains, whether they're a white belt or all the way up to black is have the communication. Let them know.
I think that's just good relationship advice anyway.
Thank you.
I just think you kind of back-assed into it. Just communication.
I do lead with my butt.
Yes, you do. No, I think that's good advice anyway for just communication in general.
Any advice? And Carrie, if you jump on that mic, if you got anything to add, please. You can jump on Olivia's mic. Any advice or tips to help get a jiu-jitsu practitioner spouse going?
Like to coax them into training?
Coke, talk, trick, coerce,
No, you don't want to do any of that.
manipulate.
Oh my God. No. First of all, don't do that.
Which one?
Manipulate or trying to coerce or
Gaslight?
anything like that. Gaslight. Don't do any of that stuff.
I'll gaslight you right now.
Yeah, that's why I don't have any flammable objects around here.
That's because you're gassy. You little loose bee over there.
Yeah.
I haven't heard you fart in years.
Nor will you. How did it digress? So, no, just so people are individuals, right? And they need to feel like they have their own autonomy. And there's nothing worse than trying to push someone into something that they absolutely have zero interest in doing. Now, it doesn't mean like, hey, you know, I think you may like this. It's intimidating at first. You got to figure out what their reasons are for really being resistant to doing it, right? And that makes all the difference there. If they're like, look, I'm not intimidated at all, not that, I just have zero interest in doing it. You're just going to end up pissing them
I feel
off.
like that person, don't push it.
For sure, that's what I'm saying.
If someone has, it's similar to competing.
Yeah.
What we say with that. Mm-hmm. If you have zero interest in competing, don't compete. Don't put the stress on yourself that everyone's like, hey, are you competing? Are you competing? Just say, no, I don't have a desire.
That's right.
If you have any desire, I think you should.
Yeah.
But if you don't even allow the peer pressure, which is unintentional from the gym, but it will happen. Don't let that even in.
For those of us that are really into this, that most of us are that train, it can be almost like you're recruiting for a cult. You can go around and proselytize and try to like recruit people because it's awesome and you want to share it. That's all it is.
You just want to beat up on white belts.
No, definitely not.
All your coworkers that you invite.
Now that's fun. Just not in general.
Right.
But I will tell you, I am glad that my wife and my daughter both train. The world is absolutely nuts right now, and knowing they have a skill set makes me feel better, you know. But you shouldn't say, hey, I need you to do this to make me feel, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of reasons to, but you know, sometimes it's just like, hey, come and watch class. Maybe have them come and try, and you can work with them together.
Did you and Carrie start at the same time?
A month apart.
Okay. So you started, I assume?
Yep.
And then she came in a month later?
Yep.
Why did she come in a month later? Like what?
You'd have to ask her. I went in there and it's like, okay, I'm just doing this now. And I tend to think about something for a long time internally. And then it looks like I made a sudden decision.
Because you won't necessarily say anything to her.
That I'm really that this is what I'm doing
out of nowhere.
now. I'm like, and for an outsider, it's like, oh, they're just going to go try this out. I had full intention on. So I came back the first day, I already bought a gi, and you know what I'm saying?
So was it one of these
up.
things like you didn't like say too much to her about like, hey, I really want to do this, but then out of nowhere you're like, so I did a class and I bought a gi and I'm going to sign
I told her. She knows that I went. It's just that she knew over the years I talked about it all the time.
That you wanted.
Yeah.
That
So
one.
Chris spent in Baltimore. We were looking at a Krav Maga place, and we looked at a place in California, and we just hadn't settled anywhere. And
Because of the military, yeah.
Then we got up here. I don't think I knew that you were looking at a place necessarily until he said, "Hey, I'm going to go check out a class." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then I went and watched a couple of classes. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, but Andrew's Academy is just so welcoming. And I saw like Amy training and saw Lady training. I think those were, and there was a younger girl that was training. But like, I saw Muhammad, one of our second degree black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was rolling with that young girl, and it was super safe. There wasn't anything spazzy. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it.
And Mo's a bigger guy too, so it's
Mo's
kind
a
of
big
like
guy, yeah. Young, athletic.
he looks kind of mean from like a distance.
Well, at that time, he had his little afro.
Oh, yeah,
so, yeah, he looked goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but then, like a lot of people do, after she got into it, it was just like, oh, this is awesome, you know?
Yeah. Liv, what's a recommendation for someone that's trying to get their wife, specifically husband trying to get their wife in
Like
there?
what they should do?
Yeah. Any recommendations on that?
I mean, at least for me, like I sat and watched. Well, number one, which Carrie kind of brought up about like the type of environment that the gym was. Train at a gym that's friendly towards women, feels safe, family friendly. If you're in a machismo gym where there's a bunch of dudes that have huge egos, like no female is going to want to. Most females are not going to want to train in a gym like that.
So when you guys started at our current gym, there was only a couple females, it sounds like, because that was probably before Glenn and Brittany started.
It
I
was.
assume. So there was only a couple, which you want to see at least a couple.
Oh,
If
for
there
sure.
is none,
It's a red flag for me.
it's a red flag. It doesn't mean it's horrible because circumstantial, who knows? They just might not have them at that time or whatever. And because when you look at 8 years later, we have a crazy amount of females, a ton of upper belt females.
Yep.
Our purple to black females is like
A lot.
maybe double digits at this point.
Yep.
And that can train consistently. So if you look at the snapshot of our group photo now compared to 8 years ago, it's like, holy smokes, totally different gym. But it's still the same professor, same tone, same culture. It just took a little.
The gym's matured.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you could be coming into a gym early.
Right.
So, but it is one, just like the Saunders thing. It's just one thing to consider.
You had to bring it up.
I had to.
Yeah.
Keep going, Liv.
So yeah, I would make sure it's a safe, welcoming, family-friendly, female-friendly environment. And then, I mean, for me, I just came and watched several classes.
Several.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say a month plus of.
Was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't every class, but you were coming to like one a week probably for over probably 2 months, honestly, where you were really trying. And then Carrie would come up. Other people would come up and say, hey, you thinking about coming in sometime? Because you're already here.
And then as far as like the spouse goes, don't abandon them. Train with them, drill with them. When sparring happens, like try to have them do some sparring with you. And I don't mean like don't abandon them like just for one class. Like stay with them for a while until they're comfortable and feel like they can drill with someone else if that's something you guys want to do, But for me, to continue to go and feel comfortable, like I didn't want to feel like, okay, I've drilled with you for a week now. I'm going to go, be with this other person. Like I needed to feel like safe,
Yeah.
So
What if, and this may be for the ladies, you could answer this too, is what if there's a female that trains and she's trying to get her husband in? How would you navigate that?
I don't even know. I don't even know if that's a real situation.
Well, this is the month for it. So
What?
Well, I know. Oh my God. No, there's I'm not going to say who, but there's a female at our gym that trains and her husband does not.
Do you know if she wants him to? Like, would she prefer it?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure there's maybe some sort of desire. Some people want some people enjoy having like their own little space, which I get. Like your hobby that's away from everything. It's not my thing, but I get that. Yeah. Do you guys have anything? If you have
What would convince you to start lifting weights with me? Because that's basically
that's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Show him multiple photos of his chest.
That's horrible, Chris.
That was a low blow.
What's funny is Bill had I just know it bothers him. It doesn't say anything bad about his chest, but it bothers him. So that's one reason I say it.
It's a low blow.
I know.
Below
Dude,
the
you
belt.
called my face a catcher's mitt on multiple occasions.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
Okay, but at least I'm saying it nicely.
What?
You said that very rudely.
No, you just didn't like the content.
It's true. It still hurts my butthole right now. It stings a little bit. I was born with a small chest.
Dude, you're fine.
I've tried
You
developing
don't.
it.
What's funny is if you took 100 people off the street, they wouldn't say you have a small chest.
Brad Pitt doesn't have a big chest. Huh?
I just know that it's something that bothers you, and that's the only reason why I say it.
Who else doesn't have a big chest?
I don't know. I don't look at chests.
You are going off the rails right now.
Anderson Silva. Actually, I was watching a video of GSP with his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have a big chest either.
Well, there, you can hang up pictures of him.
I do.
There you go.
In the bathroom. Okay. Why'd you distract me like that? So I agree with everything you guys are saying about helping to get someone. I think even if you're a female and you're trying to get your male spouse in, I think literally just using it as like, hey, I want to like do something together. I'm not taking you to like dragging you to Bed Bath and Beyond, or Barnes and Noble. I'm trying to drag
What's
you
wrong
along
with
to
that?
jujitsu. I'm just saying some people might not like it, but they still do it because they love them.
I don't think you don't like those. You don't like it when I drag you to the grocery store.
I hate the grocery store.
He literally hates it.
I've always hated it, partly because it feels like every time I go, the damn Girl Scouts are at the door.
That's true.
And I hate them.
He hates it.
I hate them.
Yeah.
I can't stand saying no to them. So what I do
You don't like
is,
saying no to anybody.
No.
hey, little bitch, no.
Jeez.
I
It's ironic to me.
why?
Someone that likes cookies as much as you do.
Well,
Why he can't say no.
that's part of the reason.
So they're kind of like, you're kind of like a recovering addict with drug
Right.
dealers in front of the
and
store.
I'm walking through Capitol Hill.
And they're like, hey,
The thing
we
is,
got some good stuff
he
for you.
doesn't have
Remember
to
you,
ever
buddy.
say no. He puts me between them and him, and I
do
have to say
pull
no.
a very beta move, which is I make sure to grab her by the shoulders
shield.
and I put her in between the Girl Scouts and us as we walk through the door.
Yeah.
And then I pretend to look at my phone like I'm a celebrity. I'm like, yeah, hey, sweet. Yep. Okay, sorry, I can't talk. I literally do. I will literally go out the service exit
No, you
for employees.
When the alarm goes off, that
done
door
it.
that says
I've
don't
done it.
open the alarm
Fred
will.
Meyer.
Okay.
Done it.
Nice.
Alarm went off, fire alarm. I just kept going. I don't know why. I can't handle it.
So you don't like grocery stores.
I don't
Okay.
like, yes. But I think that can be a way to like help it get them to come with is like, hey, I just want to spend have some time where we just hang out and we can get healthy by working out and stuff like that. It's like you can kind of pivot it in that way.
I have a question. If there was a Girl Scout stand like set up outside the jujitsu gym, would you go in or
call
would
the
you
cops.
avoid it?
Oh my God.
Would that deter you from going
I
to the
would
gym?
spiff Officer Faye.
I'm paying someone to put a Girl Scout.
I would
table in front of the
spiff
gym
Officer
doors.
Faye of the Everett Police Department to arrest him. Or to at least shake him down and be like, where's your permit, kids?
You remember what happened the last time though? Someone tried to sell stuff. Bill bought like $50 worth of candy bars. So
Oh, I know.
he ate them.
I cleaned him out.
I know. Yeah. I think that,
You can donate the money.
yeah, that's what Carrie does. She just gives money and says, no, sweetie, we're just going to donate for you.
That just feels dumb. I could get why I have to take the chocolate.
I think we're zeroing in on the problem.
We'll see with Michael, bless his heart.
He's a sweet kid.
He's a sweet kid, and he came up to me and he says, "Hey, Coach Bill, do you want to buy some candy bars?" And I go, "Yeah, I don't know if I should." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he gave me that little letdown, and I go, "Okay, how many do you got?" And he goes, "Well, I only have another box and a half." And I said, "I'll take it, all of it. I'll take the rest of everything you have." And I gave him a 50.
This is a true story.
And
Oh, I know.
And then he sat it next to his bedside. Every night I hear a rapper.
Yeah.
So those asleep, then she would hear me rip open the wrap
yeah, like a horror movie.
in bed.
Wait, what are you like? Rip.
What I did for Michael?
What?
I gave him money and said, "No, thank you, honey. This will help you raise more money."
Yeah, guess what Carrie said? She gave him money, and we didn't take the product.
I think you guys are both missing the point. It's not about
It's about your addiction.
care if he succeeds.
No, it's about your addiction. I understand.
I care about getting diabetes.
I know you do. Look, we all know you, and then those of us listening now have a better insight into your,
I would
problem.
eat about 3 or 4 chocolate bars in bed,
Yeah.
straight up.
You're telling me like that's going to surprise me.
And we wonder why your gut is.
And then my gut fell apart.
And
My gut fell out of my ass.
you're telling your doctor
That's true.
right here was like, geez, I don't know why I have GI upset. Carrie's like, 'cause you eat shit.
4 bars.
Yeah.
That's probably a reason. Anyway.
Well, I thought because I drank a couple glasses of water before that that it would
of
even
course.
out.
I know.
I guess it doesn't work that way. Okay.
40 candy bars in 30 days.
I did eat 40 candy bars in 30 days. Honestly, I probably ate more than that because there was a time with the Reese's, the Nutrageous, I would have 1 a day. I would have some peanut butter cups and a Bang energy drink every lunch.
Dude, I watched
And
you,
a caramello.
I watched you order ice cream one time, and I got the full insight into your psyche. There's a lot of planning going on.
I'm friends with a drug addict.
So
Functioning.
no, very functional.
When I was an alcoholic, I was very functioning.
There's no doubt in my mind.
I just cross-addict is my issue.
You're what?
I cross-addict.
Oh,
Yeah.
addict.
Yeah.
I thought you said something else.
Oh.
A dick.
Yeah, I don't.
I cross...
Yeah. So, and we should digest. And
Okay. Yeah. I'd say that's our best advice to help get someone in. Don't abandon them. Train with them. Whether you're a new white belt or not, and you feel like you might feel like I can't drill with them because they're new and they're doing dumb stuff. Or suck it up. It will be better. As soon as you both are like getting better and stuff like that, and then you end up having fun. Spar with them.
it's a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be super cool, especially you go on vacations. You can gym drop if that's your thing. Like you can just be part of the community together.
Right. When we go, we're going to make a trip to visit our daughter down in Denver, and we'll go and train.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, all 3 of us. It'd be cool.
So try that. If you guys got questions, you got a special scenario about you and your spouse, let us know. I'll give some good marriage advice, obviously. Last thing we got for this episode. There was a video sent to us. It was actually sent a couple weeks ago, so we're a little bit behind. But this guy's professor got hurt, and he was thinking about doing some peptides.
Yeah.
Now, he sent a video. It's a 20 or 18-minute video from a channel called The Art of Skill.
Yeah, that's one of Roy Dean's black belts.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty big channel, 50,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah. No, he has good stuff on there.
The title is The Wolverine Protocol, Accelerated Injury Recovery Using Peptides. Now, we do have a peptide episode that Dr. Carrie Hardy was on, and we went pretty in depth on peptides in general and the benefits. It's just a huge deal there.
The plot has thickened, though.
Okay.
So I had Carrie review the video.
Okay.
She is our subject matter expert.
Jeff.
And, he was talking about kind of the usual suspects of BPC 157 and thymosin beta alpha, beta 1, beta 4. Okay. Yeah. Like I'm just, So both are super valuable, for recovery, inflammation, injury healing, things like that. Except now the wrinkle to this is the FDA. Okay. As of fall last year, and I'll pull this up. You guys need. So first of all, let me just say, and Carrie's been prescribing peptides at compounding pharmacies. Again, you can't give medical advice, but in general, the risk-benefit profile on peptides is excellent. Very, very low risk of adverse effects. Despite that, so I'm going to read, this is from October 6, 2023.
Okay.
The title of this article is FDA Put Some Peptides Off Limits. So what they've done is under FDA, the section 503A, which is basically looking at, it's the Food and Drug Cosmetic Act. The FDA loves to, first of all, a little background. This is my personal opinion. I think there is so much undue influence on the Food and Drug Administration with big pharmaceutical companies, with a revolving door of like FDA commissioners will leave and then they'll go work for boards of directors of a large percentage of FDA's funding comes directly from pharmaceutical companies.
What's that movie with Mark Ruffalo? Liv.
Dark Waters.
Dark Waters. Yeah. Great movie. Well, it's historical, really, and it explains that.
So here's what they did. So this is a quote. Let's see. They say they've listed several peptides, and I have a whole list here of them, including BPC 157 and thymosin beta 4. They put them in what's called category 2. They said they've, quote, identified significant safety risks for those substances. But they don't tell us what they've identified. And I think it's nonsense, personally. So what that's done is they didn't say they're illegal. But these compounding pharmacies that actually produce these things, they are now subject to regulatory action because now they're under this category 2 where they can come in there. And so now what it's done, the downstream effect of that is these compounding pharmacies like, look, it's not worth it to us.
Right. Because
of this regulatory action they can be, because of something that I think is completely unfounded. These peptides are hugely, now you should be under someone that knows what they're doing with them.
Of course.
Like Carrie, who has gone through countless peptide certification. She knows what the heck she's doing with them, prescribes them correctly for the right amount and for the right indications. But what this has done now is it's driven people to find peptides what's called research grade, where you can just buy them on the open market without a prescription. They're not pharmaceutical grade. The difference in that is the purity standards. So you can buy this stuff. It might be okay, but it might be contaminated.
Sure.
So it's pushed it almost underground.
Right.
So people are doing it without, I'm not saying that everything you have to do has to be with a physician, but if you're doing something specifically for injury healing, and someone that knows what they're doing with peptides could probably give you a really good
I feel like it kind of relates to almost like the testosterone world.
Dude, yeah, where it's so similar.
You can go to you can buy testosterone online.
Yeah.
And you don't know where the F it came from,
dude,
the quality of it. But if you get it from a legit compound pharmacy, which being someone that, like you, I've been on and off testosterone for I don't know, how old am I?
Right.
So like 15 years, and I've had cheap stuff, and I've had quality compounding stuff since I've been with Carrie, and it is night and day.
Plus, that's not just the efficacy and the quality of the product. What about, like you said, the contaminants, right?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, the stuff might be okay, but it may not. And I mean, how do you dose it? There's a lot of protocols that she's learned, and a lot of combos and things that work real well together. But they're hugely effective, especially those two we're talking about. So Carrie even had some notes for me. Because I wanted an actual expert to review it. I have like a passing knowledge of this. So BPC 157 is body protective compound. By the way, this is something our body makes. Okay. First introduced in 1993. So it upregulates a lot of things that will accelerate wound healing, injury healing, VEGF, a bunch of these things that are part of our natural body's healing processes. But it has a ton of effects being studied for not only healing, but also like neurodegenerative disorders, things like that. Because a lot of these peptides our body makes, but as we age, we lose the ability to make them in higher amounts. So just like everything else in the body as we age. Where thymosin beta-4 is another one of these that is made in the thymus gland, which is a lot of our, as we age and as adults, that thing starts to shrink and involute. And this peptide is really, really effective in modulating the immune system. Promotes increased collagen deposition, which is very important, like tendon healing. And there's, just a bunch of, I'm not going to list all the mechanism of action of all these peptides, but the bottom line is these pharmaceutical grade products have been, the labs they're made in have been inspected. There's third-party testing where they go in and randomly take selections and test it for purity and what they say isn't. And so when you get something that's pharmaceutical grade and it's been certified, you are pretty, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And free of contaminants and all that. And you can be sure what you're putting in your body, what you're doing. And the freaking FDA is now shoving this stuff underground, basically. It's because people know it works.
Is it going to be one of these things where in a year they're going to
come out with their own thing?
BPC 157.
Dude.
It's going to be some funky name
that they've tagged something on so they could patent it somehow. They've altered it just a little bit.
but they want it to be effective like BPC 157.
Of course. And so they're saying something, and I'm going to say something really controversial here, and I usually don't. But they're saying there's significant safety risk in these substances. First of all, let me see them, okay? I'm not aware of any significant safety risk. Second of all, we've just gone through 4 years of them saying something was safe and effective.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What I think most of us know that's complete BS, and it just shows you where their allegiances lie.
Right. What you're saying is the Sackler family are lizard people.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that this institution that is supposed to. There's been doctors that were former. We had two very high-ranking people on the FDA resign because of the undue pressures they've been put under by outside entities to get something pushed through. There are countless things where you can go and, if you do your own research, how this. They're no longer able to protect us anymore because they're so compromised. And this is an obvious, just a grab.
If someone, okay, where would you start to look for someone that is good with peptides? Is it a endocrinologist? Is it a naturo? Is it someone? What are you looking up when you want to start that journey?
There's no specific person, because you can look at you're more likely, an integrative or functional medicine doc is more likely to have had peptide training than your average person.
Just because it falls under the regenerative medicine.
Yeah. Traditional
umbrella.
endocrinologist, you forget about it.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't seen one yet that does it.
Yeah.
But my point is it won't matter anymore to some point because they're going to be not available.
Like this is foregone. Like it's.
Well, until there's enough public outcry. And,
Read everything that's on list 2.
okay. So Carrie's just prompted me to list all the stuff that is on that category 2.
This is stuff that they're
Did
making
they say
a category 2.
Yeah, that they say they can take regulatory action against the pharmacies that are making this stuff.
Okay.
So, and it says raising significant safety concern. Carrie went down all of these, and every single one of them is a peptide. And I'll just list them: AOD 9604, BPC 157, which was in that video, cathelicidin LL 37, cesium chloride, CJC 1295. I'm just going to skip down some that you guys. Ipamorelin, you guys may have heard about. Different mechanogrowth factor, PEG MGF, thymosin alpha 1, thymosin beta 4. So all the stuff on this list here, and there's a significant amount, are now in this category 2, where now it's putting the pressure, because these compound pharmacies are like, well, I'm not going to have the FDA come in here and take regulatory action against me.
Right.
And so the downstream effect of the providers that are trained in this stuff like Carrie won't have a source to get it from that is pharmaceutical grade. And that's the problem with all this stuff. The stuff, what he was talking about, the thymosin beta 4 and the BPC 157, I mean, she's prescribed it to so many people in our academy to help them through some of their injuries. She gave it to me for my adductor tear.
Yeah.
That stuff is amazing.
It's amazing.
Especially if you're older.
I think I've had it 2 times.
Yeah.
And 2 different injuries.
Yeah.
And it's literally incredible what that stuff can do if you're consistent with it and have a good practitioner.
Yeah, that tells you how to use it and all that, and you know that. But this is something that I could rant on for hours about, this whole power grab and this monetary thing, the undue influence these pharmaceutical industries have on the FDA. It's just, it makes those of us that have a conscience, and then it makes you wonder. We never should have to wonder as doctors when something is out on the market. Is it really safe anymore?
Right.
So the stuff that they're saying is, I mean, I don't know. I'm questioning everything now. And the stuff that we know just from clinical practice is completely safe. They're doing this nonsense with.
Right.
And so it's
so
just,
now you're wondering if 9/11 was an inside job.
we might go full Alex Jones here, man. I don't know.
With this video, the main question was, is what he's saying about this topic, was he saying good stuff? Did he have good information in that video? And Carrie is nodding yes.
Yeah.
As it was a good video. There is good stuff in there. And they were hoping you can kind of just enlighten about the science of the peptide stuff and then injury recovery, which I think you pretty much did. But I would refer to our peptide episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what number that is, but we will put a link to that in the description on YouTube.
And just know that episode was recorded before this nonsense came out.
Yes.
With this.
Before there was even like writing on the wall, so we didn't even mention that.
So right. So it's very, very disappointing, and it's going to take a groundswell public outcry, basically.
Yeah.
They've tried to do this with NAC. Until the public goes, the hell you will, and then they backed off of that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
I mean, the conspiratorial mind that I have really starts when we see like blatant stuff like this. It makes me think about like the EPA and the ATF, like every government arm.
Well, and with CDC and all the stuff
Yes.
that Carrie and I, as physicians, should never have to be as suspicious as we are to these regulatory type or basically they're protect protect the health of the public when it seems like they're just, and it's not conspiracy theory anymore. It's right in front of our faces, which is just blatant at this point what they're doing. So
Episode 49.
Episode 49.
It's the peptides.
Thanks.
Okay.
But anyway, do you have anything else to add, Carrie, on that?
Not that doesn't involve
She said not that doesn't involve cursing. So,
Yeah, we're trying to not do that.
well, yeah, and this subject and Carrie and I just we're kind of beside ourselves.
So people know, we will have, Carrie's actually been doing a lot of conferences, a lot of extended training. Hopefully her schedule opens up and we'll get that hormone episode in, which will be awesome because we do have some questions stockpiled up. But with that, guys, so that video is good. Injury recovery, a lot of good information, unfortunately.
Just know that your sourcing you got to be careful of, because that the stuff you're buying online you just don't know.
Right. That's because we have friends that do this. That's the same with testosterone. Just because it's a cosmetic clinic that will prescribe it to you doesn't mean that's the route to go.
That's right.
They just want your money. If they're charging $200 an injection, look the other way.
Yep.
With that, guys, grapplingwithpodcast@gmail.com. Send any questions there. Hit us up on DM on Instagram. We see that. YouTube comments, all that good stuff. See you next time.
We'll see you later.